Words matter. They called it Eden, a flaming chariot, and a great fish. Was that because they were trying to describe and understand things they knew nothing about, but wanted to communicate to others? Were they just doing the best they could to explain things with what little experience and knowledge they had? I think so. Eden was sacred. Yes. But it was more than a paradise. It was protocol. A heavenly quarantine. Sealed off from the rest of evolving creation. Not designed as a punishment, nor a privilege. Designed to isolate, for a purpose. For protection. The tree was more than a tree. It was a firewall between worlds. Because, although unknown to Adam and Eve, others roamed outside the garden. Fire in the sky. Elijah did not ride a wagon of wheels pulled by horses. He ascended into something that could only be described as fire. Something the ancients could only describe as something they were familiar with. Horses and chariots. A chariot was the closest symbol for motion and majesty that they knew about. Elijah didn't die. He ascended. Not by horse, not by chariot, but by flame that roared upward. Described as fire. But fire behaves strangely when it is expelled from something not built of wood and wheels. What they saw was propulsion, not pyrotechnics. A heavenly vehicle, not understood by the language of ancient humans. Because sometimes, heaven touches down. And we can only call it what we know. Jonah's fish. According to the ancients, Jonah was swallowed by a big fish that pulled up once Jonah was thrown into the sea by his fellow sailors. The problem with that version is that Jonah did not get digested, although he was supposedly in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights, where he lived and prayed. That version is more than just a little troublesome. 3 days inside a great fish. But what if it wasn't biological? The term used was daggatl, a shape, not a species. Maybe it moved in the water. But it carried purpose like a machine. Inside, Jonah lived. Prayed. Reflected. He wasn't swallowed whole, but preserved in a vessel of mercy. It swam. But it did not pulse. It hummed patiently, while Jonah prepared to obey. God's vehicles. Across time as we knew it to be, across text and language as we know it. God's movements have been cloaked in metaphor. Metaphor that we are more able to understand as time goes on. Clouds. Winds. Fire. Creatures. Was Eden a wonderful place of safety and protection? Was the chariot a craft? Was Jonah kept alive in a vessel containing food, water, and air? They are not stories of fantasy, but faith pressed against the unknown. The ancients named what they saw but did not know how to describe. Maybe the garden was actually a sanctuary. Maybe the chariot was actually a craft. Maybe the fish was actually a vessel. What they saw may not have been what they named.